Hello, and thanks again for joining me. We're preparing for a possible winter storm this weekend. The National Weather Service predicts snow on Saturday and possibly Sunday. If needed, the county will open a storm operations center to respond to emergency requests for service. We rely on official observation stations at the major airports to track snow, and we're approaching 2 years now since we even recorded 1 inch of snow at National or BWI. It's quite possible that the prospects of a storm will cause a surge of traffic at pharmacies, groceries, hardware stores as people prepared for the storm. We've all seen this before, so no one should be surprised. We encourage residents to be prepared. That can include preparing an emergency kit for your home or car. A 3-day supply of food, water, and medication is recommended, along with supplies to keep you self-sufficient if needed. Like with any storm, MCDOT's priority will be to maintain access to public health facilities on major roadways. The state takes care of its own major roadways like State Road I-270, Route 29, and Route 355, while the county DOT focuses on everything else. We are responsible for more than 200 plow routes across 5,200 miles of roads in the county. That's a lot of roads. During every storm, we ask that everyone avoid driving unless it's absolutely necessary. Crews on the road need room to lay salt or clear snow, so please give them plenty of room to operate and be patient. The storm could bring some of us snow. Others may just get rain, but gusty winds are expected across Montgomery County. You can get up to date on our response by checking our snow page at montgomerycountymd.gov/snow. You can find links to learn how the snow impacts all of our departments, programs, and activities. Sign up for Alert Montgomery to stay up to date on delays and closures tied to bad weather. As our road crews prepare for potential winter weather, you too can be familiarizing yourself with salt-wise practices. We encourage families to use salt to help quickly melt ice on sidewalks around your home to prevent slips and injuries. The law requires homeowners and property owners to clear those walkways within a few hours or days, depending on how heavy the snowfall is. The county recommends a 3-step process to be salt-wise. First, shovel snow right away before it thaws, freezes, and hardens. Next, measure your salt and follow the guideline that a normal-sized coffee cup holding 12 ounces can melt 10 sidewalk squares. Finally, after the snow has stopped falling, sweep up the excess salt on the ground and save it for the next time. It's still good. Our environment benefits when we keep excess salt out of the stormwater runoff and out of our waterways. Salt cannot be removed once it makes its way into streams and creeks. It can have a devastating impact on the natural habitat and the creatures that depend on the tributaries. Salt is also a danger to pets and can damage plants and lawns. The salt can also be a problem for drinking water. The Potomac and Patuxent rivers are a source for nearly 2 million people. Please remember to shovel, sprinkle, and sweep to keep the impact from winter salt at a minimum. And you can visit mygreenmontgomery.org to find out about other ways to go green through the winter. There's once again rising concern about COVID-19 and all respiratory illnesses like the flu and RSV. Last week, the Maryland Department of Health issued new recommendations for all clinicians, including doctors' offices, long-term care facilities, healthcare settings, and hospitals because of new data showing elevated hospitalization rates. Since the start of December, Maryland's combined hospitalization rates have been above 10 per 100,000 residents. Here in Montgomery County, we're seeing a rise in flu and COVID cases, and more COVID cases are in our hospitals. The new state recommendations highly recommend the use of masks in clinical settings such as hospitals, medical offices, and clinical spaces. To be clear, the Maryland Department is not mandating these recommendations, but strongly recommending them. We are asking staff and clients visiting any of our clinical services to wear masks as well. When the COVID-19 pandemic began, nursing homes were among the first to feel the impact in Montgomery County, and in fact across the state. Long before we had a vaccine, a disproportionate number of the outbreaks and deaths came from these congregate living settings. This population was our priority focus at the beginning of the pandemic and continues to be to this day. Nearly 20% of COVID deaths in Montgomery County were in assisted living facilities. That's nearly 500 of our neighbors. In Montgomery County, there have been more than 200 long-term care facilities, including nursing homes and assisted living facilities, and we work closely with them to provide critically needed personal protective equipment, including masks, gloves, and other items. Fortunately, we're beyond that now. From the beginning of the pandemic through the initial vaccination process, we had a team of nurses detailed to work directly with the facilities. We dedicated vaccine doses to these high-risk individuals who care for them, and on the county level, we've been working with our long-term care facilities to make sure they're prepared. We're still keeping track of vaccine rates, especially in places where many people live together. A few weeks ago, we started emphasizing how important 100% compliance was for these facilities, and we now have 14 facilities that have at least 75% of their staff and patients current on their vaccines, and 4 facilities have actually reached 100% compliance. I'd like to see more of our facilities join this list and help us keep the virus from spreading. If you don't think it's happening at long-term care facilities you visit regularly, then ask about it. Death from COVID-19 is preventable, but we're seeing the highest transmission levels in nearly a year. This is not unexpected because we're in the midst of a traditional flu season and more people are indoors and in close contact with each other. But all that said, please remember to keep the most vulnerable people in mind and get your vaccinations. Also, practice good hygiene like washing your hands regularly and covering your mouth and nose when you sneeze and cough. And if you do get sick, stay home and get yourself tested. I want to thank the Washington Wizards for once again leading a reading challenge for children and teens in Montgomery County that began this week. The team has partnered with Montgomery County Public Libraries and other area libraries to bring back the Wizards Winter Reading Challenge. Last year we had more than 850 participants through MCPL, and we're hoping to surpass that total in 2024. The program is free to anyone who wants to participate. It encourages young readers from 3 years old up to meet benchmarks in order to collect prizes. Children or parents can register online to earn badges and qualify for a raffle for 2 tickets to a Wizards home game on Friday, April 12th against the Chicago Bulls. Game boards for the challenge can be picked up at your nearest library or printed at home. As a former teacher, I think it's important to make reading enticing and attractive for children. It can be as important for a teenager to continue reading through adolescence as a young elementary school child who's just learning. I've seen what happens when kids can't or struggle to read. It is a foundation for our entire educational system. Pushing our kids to read through this year helps them become better students. Books and stories allow anyone to follow their own path down whatever subject they're interested in, and this program gives them even more reasons to visit and use our libraries. So that's a wrap for today. Hope you have a great week. I hope you're having a great start to a new year, and I'll be back again next week.